With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, $29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.
Welcome, MLB First Pitch, Wednesday, July 13th, here on WagerTalk TV, part of WagerTalk.com. I am Steve Merril, filled in for Drew Martin, who'll be back tomorrow on Thursday. In the meantime, we've got two of the best baseball handicappers at WagerTalk.com joining me for Wednesday night's analysis. That, of course, is Adam Trigger and Bryan Leonard. We're going to break down three spotlight games tonight on Wednesday, also get to some best bets at the end of the show. And by the way, pay attention to those best bets, a perfect 3-0 sweep yesterday on Tuesday. So it'll be impossible to top that, but we'll at least try to tie it with another 3-0 sweep on the free games at the end of the show, the free best bet segment coming up in a bit. Before we do so, though, let's get to the three spotlight games for Wednesday night. And Adam Trigger, Bryan Leonard, I'll bring you on, and we'll start with an interesting one because we have some breaking news. And had we not been talking about this game, I was going to lead off with the breaking news that the Blue Jays manager has been fired as of a couple hours ago, Wednesday afternoon. You know, Adam, there were rumblings last night that he might be on the way out. Charlie Montoya. And he is out. And we'll see how this sparks him. And isn't it ironic that they're playing the Philadelphia Phillies? Because if you guys remember, the Phillies let go of their manager about a month ago, and they went on a nice hot streak right after that. Adam, Blue Jays, one of the biggest underachievers in baseball this year. They're still in the playoff mix in that unbelievably loaded American League East. Will this be a spark to get them going and maybe play up to the potential? And I guess more importantly, is it a spark tonight on Wednesday, as often is for teams when they get a new manager, or at least get rid of the other manager?
So apologies for that, guys. I had some video and audio issues. I couldn't even see you guys or hear anything, but I think we're back. And so I think I heard most of the question. Phillies, Jays, yeah, like the way I'd be looking to kind of jump in here is similar to what happened when the Phillies fired Girardi and they went on that win streak, because the Blue Jays really kind of, profile as the same type of team, right? Like ton of potential, a lot of offense, just really underperforming over the past few weeks. So I certainly wouldn't want to play against the Blue Jays right now. They win yesterday. And in that win yesterday, they had 14 hits, which was a big issue for them during the losing streak. They just couldn't get the offense going. And it looked like it finally woke up yesterday. 14 hits, maybe not even reflected as much in the final score as they only scored 4 runs, but they're starting to hit the ball. Here, Ross Stripling, not a guy overly high on. I haven't been overly high on him his entire career, but since he's entered the Blue Jays rotation, 2.55 ERA, and he hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in all 7 starts since joining the rotation. So, I remember Dave Koken, right? When the Phillies kind of fired their manager, he just blindly bet the Phils every day. And I think he won like 8 or 9 in a row. I wouldn't be that surprised to see something similar happen with the Jays. I don't know if I'll make a best bet out of it here, but a client play out of it, but it's certainly a solid spot. I think that the Jays are definitely a team that you'd want to look to play on after this change. Any type of shakeup for a team that's been underachieving tends to get things going, at least in the short term. So I do like the Blue Jays here.
Yeah, Bryan Leonard, the old adage in sports is that you can't fire the entire roster, right? So that's why they fire the manager. And we do see these daily sports. Well, the NFL, we'll see it in the NFL at some point this season as well. Well, by the way, they have odds on first NFL coach fired. At the very bottom of the list, you can get Bill Belichick at 150 to 1. I don't think it says resign. I think it had to be fired. So I don't think I'm taking the that bet there. But yeah, in baseball, we do see this happen, and teams often get sparked because it's the most ultimate daily sport. They play basically every single day, 162 games. We see it in the NBA. We often see it in hockey as well, sports that you handicap, of course. As Adam referenced, the Phillies got that spark when they fired Girardi over a month ago. It was right, I think it was June 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. And they went on a little bit of a run after that. Have come back down to earth a bit here in recent weeks. So in fact, they entered tonight on a 3-game losing streak. Is Toronto the play? I mean, were they the play before for you? And if so, was this enough to get it over? How you look at the manager change? And for me, it was kind of a tiebreaker. Definitely gets me leaning maybe towards Toronto in this game now.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a situation where I thought the line was pretty fair before, and with the firing of the manager, that's normally something you want to take a look at, especially a team with as much talent as Toronto has. Hats off to the Yankees. I didn't expect the Yankees to win this division, but it looks like they're going to be heading in that direction. I thought Toronto was the team to beat out of this division. They still have all those key players out there right now. We've got 2 righties going today. And if you take a look at the last month, Philadelphia's got an 89 WRC plus against righties, and Toronto's 125. So that's a 36% advantage. A lot of that is obviously because the Phillies' best player is out of the lineup. That's a major consideration here. The pitching advantage from the starting pitcher standpoint is with Philadelphia. Wheeler's having a terrific season. But as Adam pointed out, the pitcher for Toronto here, he's had a pretty good season so far. Stripling's a guy that I haven't been looking to play on much in his career, even though he's played for some pretty good teams and some pretty good ballparks. But I think there's a little bit of an advantage here. The lines come maybe up 10 cents here on Toronto at this point, but that's the way I would look here. Much better against righties lately than Philadelphia is. Don't like this Philadelphia defense. We've talked about this all season long. They're really weak in the outfield defensively. So you've got everything except for the best pitcher going for Toronto here, and the differential between Stripling at home and Wheeler on the road isn't enough to throw me off this. So I actually lean towards Toronto here. I don't know if they'll get there with an actual play, but if I get this thing down to 110, I think I'm going to buy, and that's my buy number right now. I'm seeing 111 is the lowest I could find out there. So it's pretty close to me betting Toronto in this one.
Brian.
Yeah, and back on June 3rd, when the Phillies made the fire, they won 10-0 against the Angels, and then they won 7-2 the next day and 9-7 after they won 8 straight. It was part of a 9-game win streak. So we'll see if Toronto gets a spark with their manager no longer. Montoya is gone tonight on Wednesday, and the overnight line actually had the Phillies as high as -115 yesterday. Now the Blue Jays are a slight $1.15 favorite. So we have seen some money coming on Toronto from that opener, and I think we all agree that's probably warranted with the motivation that they might have tonight. All right, we're going to look at another game here, this time an interleague game, and this is going to be a team I've really enjoyed talking about. I did Wager Talk today earlier, did it, of course, on Monday with Adam. We also had Brian on. We talked a lot of baseball. Prez was back the last couple of days, and Prez did not agree with me, guys, that it would be exciting to see the Baltimore Orioles make the playoffs. Maybe it's more exciting for me because I grew up in the Northern Virginia area before we had the Nationals. The Orioles were my team, of course, in the 80s and 90s. But it's exciting, I think, as a baseball fan. And I'll throw it back to you, Brian, because I'd like to see one of the underdog teams that doesn't buy their way to the titles, like the Yankees who are in the lead in this division, teams that actually grow the talent, do well. And the Orioles were expected to have the lowest wins this season. I think it was in the low 60s when the over-unders came out. They're now at 500. They've won 9 straight. The day off on Monday did not hurt them as they came right back, won their 9th straight at Chicago last night. What's your take on this game and just your take on the Orioles going forward for the second half of the season? They've been a huge moneymaker. Will that continue?
Yeah, it's interesting. I like you. I like the teams that don't normally win to have success here, and the Cubs don't have the greatest of histories other than the 1 year, and Baltimore's been forever. I'm rooting for Baltimore. And when you take a look at the teams in their division, the Yankees, Tampa Bay, Boston, Toronto, all teams with winning records, all teams with positive run differentials. And here we are with the Baltimore Orioles on the season. They're playing 500 ball. They're only down 12 runs on the season. They're 24-32 against teams over 500, which is pretty impressive. For example, the division they play in, they played 56 games against teams over 500. The Houston Astros have only played 36. So the schedule's been very tough for Baltimore. For them to be 44-44 at this point is tremendous. Hats off to this Baltimore organization. And I think we're a clear front runner here for Coach of the Year. But all that said against Baltimore here, I kind of like the Cubs in this situation. The Cubs, to me, are a team that when they're playing at home, it's a team I'm looking to back. Steele's been very good at home this year. He's a lefty going against a Baltimore team who hasn't hit lefties on the season very well. The line's going up a little bit. It's about 125 on the opener. Now we're seeing upwards of 140, 142. So money's coming in on Chicago, and I agree. I like the situation here. Most of it is because of the pitching matchup. Watkins just hasn't been there for Baltimore. He's like the only guy they've had in the rotation that hasn't performed well at one time or another so far this season. Steele is a guy who's had some bad luck going against him, some home runs in that regard. But if you take a look at his StatCast preview overall in the season, he's done pretty well here. So I like the Cubs in this one. And it's a situation for me that, yes, we're losing some line value as the day goes on, but still it's a situation where I think the Cubs have a little bit of an advantage. And I had mentioned Justin Steele. You take a look at his exit velocity, 87.1, hard hit percentage, excellent at 33.8. He's very good across the board, except for his walk percentage is at 10.7. Watkins walks at 8.7, but only has a 12.6 strikeout percentage. So give me the much better starter here with the Cubs playing at home. Even though as much as I like Baltimore, I think I'm going to fade him in this one.
Yeah, they might have the slight starting edge. One thing the Orioles, though, have had this year is a bullpen edge in a lot of games. Fifth best ERA in baseball right now with the bullpen. Of course, it was third a few weeks ago, but still pretty good. So if they can keep it close, Adam, this has been a team that's been the best plus 1.5 run line team in all of baseball. First of all, because they've vastly overperformed and won a lot of games outright as an underdog, but also because of that bullpen. Adam, you and I Monday on Wager Talk today talked about two of the hottest teams in baseball, the Mariners and the Orioles. You mentioned you thought the Mariners would regress here over the next few weeks, probably after the All-Star break. But you said you're a little less likely to fade the Orioles. 9 straight wins now since we last talked. What's your take on this game tonight?
Yeah, so it's like a conundrum for me, Steve, because I've been on the Orioles since early in the year. So I kind of caught the upswing with them. Before they were a popular pick, I was betting the Orioles, taking them plus 1.5 when no one wanted to bet them. And now, it just sort of goes against how I like to bet games. Like I want to keep riding the Orioles, but at the same time, I'm acknowledging that the value has been like sucked out on them at this point. And no one wins forever, right? Like this streak will end. It will end sooner than later. It very well could end tonight. And this is certainly a spot that makes sense for the Cubs. Someone thinks that the Cubs are the right move here because that 20-cent move is not the betting public. That's absolutely respected money that moved that up from, which looks like now minus 140 for the Cubs. So, Steele, like Brian said, he's right that Steele's a better starter here. Watkins has been hot, but he's kind of a ticking time bomb in my opinion. Definitely has command issues, so he's locked in right now. But when it goes, it's probably going to go for him. That's what I at least think is going to happen. Steele's been very consistent, 2.72 ERA over the last 6 starts. He was on the paternity list, so he's had a little bit of a layoff since his last start, which I don't know that I love for him, just because he was in such a nice groove. So to have to kind of take that extra break is not ideal. But the only way I could play this would be the Cubs. The price was a little bit high for me to make it a best bet, but I would have to back the Cubs here just because I'm going to have to go against the Orioles going forward. I mean, the win streak will end. Whether it's here or in the coming days, we'll find out. But I think it could be here. I kind of liked the Cubs last night. They didn't get it done. I didn't bet it. I'm not going to bet this, but if I was going to, it would have to be the Cubs minus 140.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point about Steele having a little bit of a longer layoff. He hasn't pitched since last Monday, July 4th, so he's been off 8 days in between instead of the normal maybe 5 that he has. So that is something to keep an eye on. If maybe these guys are creatures of habit, as we know, and of course we have the All-Star break coming up next week, so these guys are all going to have extended layoffs and well. And Brian and I talked about that the other day with you as well on Monday on Wager Talk today about you have to tread carefully here the few games before and even more importantly, probably the few games after the All-Star break, whether it be the NBA or MLB. So we've got that coming up as well. All right, one more spotlight game, and then we're going to get to the best bet segment that went a perfect 3-0 here on the show yesterday on Tuesday. So the pressure's on, guys. We're going to have to live up to that tonight on Wednesday. But before we do so, another team that's really interesting to talk about, in my opinion, is the LA Angels. This is a team that was 27-17, leading the division a few months ago. They decided to lose 14 straight games after that, lose 18 out of 20 right after leading the division. They're now 11-33, their last 44, and that includes a tough loss last night for several reasons. Not only did they lose the game late by a single run to the Astros, but they also lost Mike Trout in the 5th inning with upper back spasms. However, Adam, they do have their ace, Shohei Ohtani, on the mound tonight. They're 8-6 as a team with him starting this year. It's not a surprise. They've played well for him, and more importantly, he has pitched extremely well this season. Ohtani's been the one bright spot, and this is a guy that's got a 2.5 ERA, 2.4 ERA, and a 0.99 whip. Really solid numbers. But the Astros are going with Javier tonight, who's also got solid numbers. Houston at Anaheim. They've lost 9 out of 10, Adam. Do you dare try to catch that falling knife with the Angels?
I don't hate that, but I'm going to look at the total because I think that unfortunately, Major League Baseball has ruined betting, like unders betting for us with the extra innings the way that they are. And I really don't do it that often anymore just because I last year, one too many times, I got blown up in extras in a game that I was dead to rights and then suddenly goes to extras and goes over. But, this is one of the games that I would normally be betting it under because even with the low total of 7, I still have it at about a half run too high. And I think at least with 7, it gives you the ability to, if it does get tied at 3, you might get out 4-3 and get a push. But, Ohtani extremely well might even be an understatement, right? Like his last 5 starts, he has a 0.27 ERA, and I think he hasn't allowed a run in 28.2 innings. So he is just mowing batters down right now. Javier has been great. His numbers against the Angels are outstanding. 3 appearances this year. 1 start, 0.73 ERA. That's in 12.1 innings pitched against the Angels. And the Angels' offense is struggling. They could be without Mike Trout here. We know the Astros are without Yordan Alvarez until the All-Star break. So, and at some point, I'll make this point about the Astros. They're like 13 or 14 games in the lead in the AL West. And going into at some point, they're going to go into vacation mode before Monday. Right? Like this happens with these teams every year. They have a big lead. The All-Star break's coming up, and it's just they start to go through the motions come like Wednesday or Thursday, before the break. You start to get some wacky results. But for the Astros, I think where that would affect them might be on offense. And I'll tell you right now, if they're going through the motions, they're not going to do much against Ohtani. But the Angels might not do a whole lot against Javier either. So it seems like a low number. I don't think it's low enough. I think that under 7 is probably good here. I see something like a 3-2 type game.
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement, Adam. I used that as the big game breakdown on Wager Talk today. I used the under 7 as my play today in this game. And 7 is a very key number, of course. Obviously 3-3 can't end on 6. It's got to go to 7. And, of course, the extra innings does concern. You could always look at the first half, which is 3.5 or the 5-inning line. But one thing, Brian, about the Astros and the reason they are having such a great season, best bullpen in baseball, best number 1 in the ERA, number 3 right now in WHIP. They were 1-1 just like a week ago. Angels in the bottom half of those two. So, the good bullpen would help you full game, but of course, extra innings always concerns you. And this game is a competitive game. I mean, Angels are actually a $1.15 favorite right now, even losing 9 out of 10 because Ohtani is on the mound. Last night, Anaheim had 5 runs, Brian, on 2 hits. So to say their offense is struggling would be an understatement. Of course, Trout went out halfway through the game. Do you agree with the under here? And would you dare back the Angels laying a price here against the Astros, who do look like maybe they're sleepy as they head into the All-Star break?
I am looking at it a little bit differently here. You've got an Angels team that has struggled offensively. Trout's going to be out tonight. Ward, who started the season just on fire and then came back from injury. He hasn't been the same since he's come back from injury. So basically, your one bat that you worry about in the Anaheim lineup, Angels lineup, is Ohtani, the pitcher. And obviously, when he's your starting pitcher, he's the key ingredient. So if you're looking for the Angels here, not only are you have to look for Ohtani to keep up this tremendous run he's been on the mound, you also have to look for him to do something offensively. That's a lot of pressure on one guy. And to be good in that situation, both hitting and pitching, is a little bit too much in this price range for me. Take a look at the last month, WRC plus against right-handers, which we're dealing with today. The Angels are 69, second worst in baseball behind the Oakland A's. That's 31% worse than an average team. You take a look at the Houston Astros. Their WRC plus the last month against righties, 132. Number one in baseball against righties over the last month, 32% better than league average. So we're looking at like an offense that's 63% better than the better than the Angels here. And to get that team is a slight underdog here, a team that we know is by far the better team. I think the Houston catching that number tonight is the better play. Javier's been terrific, as Adam was nice enough to point out. And Houston's a team that's been very consistent all season long, other than that first start of the year. But if you looked at the advanced stats, you knew that Houston was going to come on. They did. They came on strong. Not a fan of this Angels team. Normally, they're a team I bet against every season, but they had brought in some guys this year, and I thought they'd be a little bit better. Well, maybe they're not. And it's just a whole organizational thing here for the Angels for me. You got the best hitter in baseball, the best pitcher in baseball, and you still can't win. Give me Houston at this price range. I like that better than the total in this game.
Yeah, and once again, you're getting the best team in the division, one of the best teams in baseball, at an underdog price against a team that's lost 9 out of 10. So Ohtani might be good, but I'm not sure I want to play price right now with the Angels. That's for sure. But we do have some agreement on Brian likes the Astros, and Adam and I both lean under 7 in this one. All right, going to look at some best bet free plays for the show here. And they did quite well last night on Tuesday, to say the least. A perfect 3-0 sweep. And we appreciate all the viewers out. One of them made a nice 8.5 to 1 return by parlaying the 3. Now, I'm not saying we should always just do a 3-team parlay. I'm not a big fan of that. But as Joe Ranieri will say, for SHIT and giggles, sometimes it's worth a little wager. And it paid off last night, playing with some house money for the rest of the week. So we appreciate all the chat, the live chat, of course, the viewers on Twitter as well. And don't forget also, best bets, of course, where you're going to make your serious money at WagerTalk.com. And for the rest of the month of July, including today on Wednesday, half price on all best bets at WagerTalk.com. And that's a great deal. You're getting a 2-for-1 special on everything you buy. Buy one, get one free, basically. All best bets, 50% off at WagerTalk.com for the rest of July. That's Bryan Leonard, Adam Trigger, myself, Steve Merril, and any other capper you want to choose. You get best bets for half price for the rest of July, including tonight, all the baseball plays, every sport at WagerTalk.com. Okay, Adam Trigger, I'm going to throw it back over to you for a free play here for the show. What's something that you think you could put some money on tonight?
Yeah, so before I get to my show best bet, I want to just talk about the Nationals really quickly. I was going to do it at the top of the show, and I had all sorts of audio video issues over here. So Nationals, game 1 was a 4% play for me. They're down 5-1 in the 7th inning right now. It's most likely a loss. I will probably be coming back on Nationals in the second game of the doubleheader for a 4% play. So that's just check on Twitter because I'm going to tweet it out. But that's a bonus little, 4% client play for you because I'm assuming they're going to lose this game here right now. And I had every intention of running it back with them if they did so. So that's just a little bonus right there. Nationals game 2, as long as they lose game 1. As far as my best bet for the show, I like the managerial change angle with the Jays. The Blue Jays are a team that I was high on coming into the season. I took a loss with them in that Mariners series last week in one of the games where they lost with a late lead, which they did 3 days in a row. But they got the win last night, and they got 14 hits in the process. And I could see the managerial change similar to what we saw with Girardi earlier this year, just sort of wake the clubhouse up a little bit. And if that clubhouse wakes up, there's a lot of talent in there. Bichette, Guerrero, they have the players to rattle off an extended streak. And so, just kind of building on the win last night, I think they could do it here. Stripling's been good enough of late as a starter for me to be willing to go to bat with him. And, like Brian said earlier in the show, if he gets minus 110, he's going to like it. I think that's kind of where this number is headed. People seem to want to back Wheeler here. So, yeah, if you get Blue Jays, and even the minus one, I think it's minus 114 right now. The lower it goes, the better here. I think the Blue Jays could be in for a little run. And so I'll back them off a win last night's win to get that run going here and win again. So Blue Jays minus 114 is my best bet for the show, and a little bonus play on Nationals game 2, assuming they do end up losing the first game of this doubleheader.
Love it. A little bonus free play for you here for you live viewers especially. And don't forget to follow us all on Twitter for updates throughout the day and evening as well. I'm going to look at a free play for you, a game that I used for the big game breakdown earlier on Wager Talk today. I had a little bit of audio technical difficulties on that show, so I'm going to reiterate it here for the best bet for the baseball show here. And we talked about it earlier. I like under 7 minus $1.15 in that Angels-Astros game. Now, extra innings is always a concern, and this should be a competitive game tonight with the Angels. It's actually a $1.15 favorite despite losing 9 of their last 10. But hopefully we get regulation only. We keep this under that key number of 7. And I'm going to play the full game under 7. We could go first 5 under 3.5 to take that extra inning concern out of play. But the Astros bullpen has been the best in baseball this year, and the Angels offense is really struggling. So I think it's going to be very difficult for the Angels to get much offense going throughout this game. Javier's had solid numbers as a starter. Astros bullpen, number 1 ERA, number 3 WHIP right now in all of baseball. And the Astros lost Mike Trout last night halfway through the game in the 5th inning with upper back spasm. So offense is going to really struggle. And keep in mind the 5 runs last night, extremely misleading by the Angels, as they had 2 total hits in the entire ball game. So they did not hit the ball well at all. Should be even worse tonight. So the question becomes, can the Astros be held in check? And I think they can. The Angels have Shohei Ohtani on the mound, their best pitcher by far. He's having a fantastic season. All-star numbers once again with a 2.4 ERA and a 0.99 WHIP. Angels are actually 8-6 with them on the mound. They've won 5 straight starts with them. So even though they're 11-33 their last 44 games since leading the division at 27-17 a couple months ago, they've still won 5 straight with Ohtani. It's the only win they've had in their last 10 games overall. So they do come and play hard when he's on the mound, and he will hold the Astros in check. And I think the Angels will hold their own offense in check because they're terrible right now. And that gets us under 7. It's a little late night free play for you at 9:38 Eastern on Wednesday. Don't forget, I do have a strong MLB steamroller best bet tonight at WagerTalk.com for Wednesday. That game, along with all best bets from every capper for the rest of July, is 50% off, half price, all best bets, including a strong steamroller tonight on Wednesday from Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. All right, Bryan Leonard, let's look at another free play to finish out the triple play here for best bets of the show. What you looking at tonight on Wednesday?
Just a couple things to start. First off, hats off to Adam. Not only does he mention a game that he gave out as a client play, it hasn't even lost yet. It's losing, and he admitted it. So that's something I really like about the guys we have at Wager Talk. We're willing to talk about the losses, even if they haven't even happened yet. But I really appreciate Adam's honesty there, and that's one of the things I love about this site. I only had one play today. My only play was the afternoon game with Detroit and Kansas City, the under 8. It's 1-0 right now as we speak for Detroit. So an additional play here, if you're looking to play live betting, that was our play today. Obviously, watch what's going on. You don't get more information when you play in live betting. So just keep in mind we had the under in that game. But I'm going to go back to that Baltimore Cubs game. Line has gone up a little bit higher than what it was originally, but I still like the Cubs here. Take a look at Spencer Watkins. And, if you're going to make one adjustment for starting pitchers, when you take a look at them, take a look at the strikeout percentage minus the walk percentage. Spencer Watkins right now is at 3.9, whereas you take a look at Justice Steele's at 12. So that's your strikeout versus walk percentage. That's what the starting pitchers control. Who gets on base in that regard, strikeouts and walks. Big advantage for Steele there. You take a look at Watkins, his exit velocity, 90.9 is bad. Everything's bad on the season. He may be pitching pretty well now, but when I see a less than desirable numbers coming off of a pitcher like that who's on a pretty good run, I like to fade him. Justice Steele, as was pointed out, pitching at home here. He's a guy that's got a lot of red in his baseball savant numbers, and that's something that I look for. So he hasn't had a lot of luck. But you take a look at his barrel percentage, 2.7% on the season. He don't hit home runs against Justice Steele, and when he has given them up, it has been because he's pitched very well, and he's in the strike zone, and that's what happens. But 2.7% against Watkins, 8.8, another reason to play the Cubs here, a team that I think is in a real good spot here, with the Baltimore Orioles looking for, if they win today, they will have a winning record. That's something I need to check with Ralph Michaels to find out when was the last time this far into the season the Baltimore Orioles had a winning record. Give me the Cubs. I like the Cubs at home. It is a slight favorite here, 140 range, and that's my best bet on the show today.
Yeah, there's an angle, Brian, in college football that always works, and that's to fade the team when they first make the top 25. So the question is, are the Orioles now at 500? Do we fade them, or do we need one more win before we fade them? But either way, we'll find out tonight. Bryan Leonard thinks that 9-game win streak stops at Wrigley Field. And to recap the three best bets here for the show that we just mentioned, myself, Steve Merril, I'm looking at under 7 between the Astros and Angels, under 7 minus 115. Adam Trigger likes the managerial change. In fact, he changed the game he was going to give out of this show because of it. He's going with the Blue Jays minus $1.14 there with the Blue Jays with some new life with the bench coach being promoted. And Bryan Leonard, he's jumping out in front of that speeding bullet. He's going to dodge it, he hopes, effectively. And that's fading the Orioles after 9 straight wins with the Cubbies. Chicago Cubs minus 138 to snap the Orioles' 9-game win streak. Once again, 50% discount on all best bets. Look, those are some free plays for the show. As you guys know, those are some games that were just a bit outside from making the cut. But the official best bets for all of us are available on our premier pages at WagerTalk.com. And for tonight and the rest of the month, 50% off. Buy one of us, get the other one for free. Buy 2 of us, get 2 more for free. It's a 2-for-1 special no matter how you cut it, with 50% discounts on every daily pick pack at WagerTalk.com for all of July. Steve Merril, Bryan Leonard, and, of course, Adam Trigger. And follow all the other great cappers at WagerTalk.com as well. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you found the show useful. If you like the content, make sure you hit subscribe. We're so close to 100,000 viewers here on WagerTalk TV. If you haven't hit subscribe, do us a favor. Take 2 seconds. Make sure you hit it right now. Hit the bell for instant alerts. I should have another baseball weekend video up in a couple days. You hit the bell, you get an instant alert when it goes live. And don't forget to comment below. Let us know if you will be at the meet and greet, the Super Contest weekend in Las Vegas, August 19th to the 21st. You can get more details online at wt.buzz/MG, wt.buzz/MG for details on the Las Vegas meet and greet from August 19th to the 21st. Adam, Bryan, thank you both for joining me. I'm Steve Merril, and we'll be back tomorrow at 1:45 Eastern for more baseball. Don't forget to check me out tomorrow also at noon Eastern on Wager Talk Today, and everything is archived 24/7 here on Wager Talk TV. Enjoy the games tonight, and best of luck.
With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, $29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.